got started off as a cruise director. So I started with Carnival back in 2014. I started off as the fun squad, as Carrie was given the opportunity to become a cruise director, and I was going to go to the Carnival Fascination. And in 2017, I got on board and I was writing notes frantically down with a gentleman called Marcello, who was the cruise director at the time. So I was writing down notes about how to do this, about how to do that. But to cut a long story short, we actually got pulled out of operation because in 2017 it was the moment when the hurricanes hit Puerto Rico and hit the US Virgin Islands. It was hurricane after hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. So what happened was we got pulled out and we went over to the island of St. Croix with FEMA. That way we had all the guests get off in Port Canaveral. We set sail to St. Croix and we had 1,200 military personnel, linemen, plumbers, electricians, government officials, all come on board. And the Carnival Fascination, in theory, became a military base. So it was very, very different. There was maybe one comedian a week. We had the band playing once a day for an hour. So it was very, very different. Everybody would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, do all the work in the uniforms, 80-degree heat, come back at 6 or 7 in the evening, of course, shower, eat, call home, and go to sleep. So it was very, very different to what I would usually expect. And I wasn't really sure how to take it all in, if you like. But there was things it was absolutely incredible. There was trucks on top of gas stations. The ocean wasn't by the beach. There was literally live telephone wires hanging around. There was curfews. There was jailbreak. So it's very, very different. But it actually showed me how much the military, not just in conflicts or not just in wars, but of course in recovering and helping people back to life. And it was absolutely incredible seeing all these different branches from different parts of the states come on in. And the blessing was, I think, when we got there, the island was pitch black. But every day you would just see a light pop up on one of the mountains, and every day it got better and better. So for that, I just want to take a massive opportunity for the people I met in 2017 during Operation FEMA. If we can give them a round of applause, it was amazing. There was one moment in particular where the nightclub was being used as a kind of area for teams who were doing a debriefing and of course talking about the day ahead. So the Navy was in there talking about their briefing, talking about what's to be done. And it was at that time, about 8 o'clock in the evening, where the Army decided that they wanted to just come in and have a party. Let's just say security was called very, very quickly. I wasn't even in the nightclub, I was outside going, I am not going in there. No. There was fists flying, there was curses being made, but literally 20 minutes later, everybody who was in that nightclub, involved in that domestic, was at the bar with their challenge coins, talking like nothing ever happened. And it also showed me, yes, we have that joke with different branches, but it really showed me how close and how family-like the military well and truly is. So it's an incredible experience, a memory for life. Another round of applause as well for those people. Navy, the linemen, the electricians, the crazy. Now folks, we're going to go and honour each and every branch, but before we do that, I'd like to welcome to the stage a fantastic musician, part of our rock band, Radio Magic. Please welcome to the stage, Mark, everybody! And folks, at this time, if those who can all take a stand, as Mark is about to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proud we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Magic family, put your hands together for Mark, everybody! Oh, gives me shivers every time. Mark, make sure you catch Mark and the rock band Radio Magic. They're going to be performing in the Ocean Plaza and in a few days' time here as well in the show America Rocks. Now, I'm going to be honest, my grandfather definitely would kill me for saying this, but your national anthem is a whole lot better than our national anthem. It really is. It really is. Yours is so passionate and so, oh, I love it. And ours is very much God save our gracious King. So for that, you got a point. Now, folks, like I say, we're going to go through each and every branch. If you're part of that branch during past, present, or future, please take a stand so we can obviously see you and obviously we can honour and give you the thanks and of course the round of applause that you well and truly deserve. So like I say, we're going to go through each and every branch. Do take a stand if you're a part of that military branch. But let's start off with the smallest one. Let's start off with the smallest one right here. Obviously not. If we have any army in the house, please take a stand. Army! Give it up for the army in the house, everybody. Now, what was there an army chant, an army call? What's that? What was it? Say that again? See, there we go again. So there we go again. Your chants are so much better than ours. Ours are very much hit, 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 hooray, yes sir. Yours are like, hoorah! That sounds so British. That sounds so British. I'm working on it. What's that? I know, I'm learning. But jokes aside, let's give it up for the army in the house, everybody. Next up, folks, if we have anyone here serving or going to serve in the Marines. Where's our Marines at in the house? Marines, take a stand. Give it up for the Marines! Okay, Marines, what was the Marine call? Hoorah! Hoorah! Is that right? Look at you guys laughing at me. Not any British man. We're going to do a shout out. We're going to commemorate our veterans very, very shortly. Alright, I'll be right with you. Now again, like I say, Marines, I'm very British. You guys, hoorah, hurrah! There we are. Hoorah! Jokes aside, we always respect you as well. Thank you for your service. Give it up for the Marines in the house. Thank you. I don't think I'll ever get it. Next up, folks, we have anyone here serving or going to serve in the Navy. Where's our Navy at? Navy, take a stand. Folks, let's give it up for the Navy in the house. The Navy. Thank you, man. Thank you for your service. Now, what was the Navy called? You know, the Navy? Do you know the Navy called? What was it? Where's the bar? It's funny, it changes every week. Last week it was where's the beers at? It seems to be a constant theme. This week it's where's the bar? But you know what, again, we appreciate you, each and every one of you, past, future and present. Give it up for the Navy in the house, everybody in the Navy. Next up, everybody, we have anyone here serving or going to serve in the Air Force. Where's the Air Force at? Give it up for the Air Force in the house. Now, Air Force, what was the Air Force called? Arms away. Arms away?
Shot. Aim high.
Aim high? Where's the exchange? I'm having flashbacks from the Carnival fascination right now. But again, we truly appreciate our Navy, all jokes aside, and of course, more importantly, the slide that we're talking about right here, the Air Force. Can we get up for the Air Force? Next up, folks, now I want to take a moment here because on board cruise ships, we work extremely closely with our Coast Guard. Now the Coast Guard ensure that we are getting back to our home port safely. They also ensure that we are leaving our home port safely. Of course, in a medical emergency as well, which does happen, they are here like an absolute flash. Of course, search and rescue as well. They make sure that they're drilling our crew members, make sure that we are working safely in case of an emergency. So if we have any Coast Guard, past, present or future, if you could take a stand, any Coast Guard? Coast Guard! Magic family, give it up for our Coast Guard in the house. And first, like I say, we work very closely with the Coast Guard. Now, I've been with, like I said, Carnival for 7 years. When the world stopped, I had 2 years break, accidentally. But I came back in January 3rd this year. It's the first time back since the world, since the shutdown, since the revamp. And of course, January 3rd I came back. January 9th was when we had a Coast Guard inspection. So our captain at the time was a gentleman called Captain Rosario Arena, and he kind of knew the drill. He knew I was first back after 2 years. He knew I was a little bit rusty, shall we say. So our captain decided to tell the Coast Guard to just grill me, to just ask me the questions. The captain was like, yeah, tell Simon, ask Simon. It's okay. Well, at the time, of course, I didn't know this. I just thought the Coast Guard were coming on board, and they just seemed to be asking me all the questions. I was shaking in my little space boots. I thought I was going to get fired. And then about 5 minutes later, the Coast Guard were just like, yeah, we're only playing, you're fine, you're safe, the captain picked you up. But I can't even say anything to the captain, I was just like, oh, you're my captain. But again, thank you to the Coast Guard, let's give them another round of applause, thank you for that. Next up, folks, we have another one right here, is the Space Force. Now, I think I've met one person, if we have anyone here served, or serving, or going to serve, in the Space Force. Does the grandson count? Of course. Your grandson is planning to be in the Space Force? That is absolutely incredible. If we can give a huge round of applause for our Space Force. Of course, we are in the midst of kind of getting the song for the Space Force. I can think of a few though. Star Wars, that is genuinely a great one. Star Trek, Rocket Man. But again, jokes aside, this is the 21st century. If we can give a huge round of applause to the Space Force, thank you to them. Next up, folks, I want to take this opportunity and do a couple of shout-outs. So first and foremost, if we can, a huge round of applause for the United States Public Health Service. Give them some love. And of course, next up, I want to take this opportunity in thanking the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. If we can give them a round of applause as well. And this one here, definitely want to take decadence to, is other uniformed service members, whether that be the National Guard, the Reserves, and of course, another tree that is close by, emergency services, whether that be police, firefighters, doctors, nurses, EMTs, paramedics, first responders, any emergency services, first and National Guard and Reserves. If you could take a stand so we can give you the thanks that you truly deserve as well. Thank you for everything you've done, folks, and everything you're going to do. Thank you so much. The next couple of shout-outs I want to make for is civilian personnel. Now, I kind of put this, it's not on the slide, but I want to take this moment to thank now the civilian personnel, whether you also be submariners, special ops as well. If you could take a stand so we can thank you. Special ops, yeah. Like I say, you folks hold secrets dearly to you until your grave. You don't, these secrets you never reveal. And of course, you stop conflicts, you stop wars, and certainly stopped operations that we don't even know about. So once again, thank you for your service. Again, if we can get them another round of applause. Thank you. Next up, folks, I want to take this opportunity, including Purple Heart, Gold Star families, spouses. Now, families, you are the rocks of our military personnel. Whether you be a son, daughter, a nephew, a niece, an uncle, an aunt, a mother or father, a husband or a wife, the list goes on. So spouses and military families, you are the rocks. You're the ones who are paying the bills. You're the ones putting gas in the car. You're the ones taking the kids to school. And of course, when our military personnel come home as well, you're the ones looking after them and making sure that they are comfortable and doing the best for them, always 24/7. So military families, again, Gold Star and Purple Hearts, if you could take a stand as well, including your spouses, take a stand, and we want to thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done and everything you're going to do as well. Thank you very much. Now I want to take this moment here to thank our allies. Do we have any allies, our closest allies being Canada? Anyone from Canada? Well, if we can give them a round of applause, Canadians, thank you very much. Of course, as well, do we have anyone from Australia? Anyone from the United Kingdom? That's joking. No, jokes aside, I never served in the military. I do have family and friends that have served in the military. I actually have a great friend of mine. I'm going to name drop because I'm super proud of him. His name's Lance Corporal Richard Jones, and won Britain's Got Talent in 2016. Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. Incredible magician. Do have a little look on YouTube for him. He's a splendid fellow, and he's still serving for Her Majesty's service in the British Army. But in all seriousness, I want to take this opportunity, being from the United Kingdom, to thank you and ensuring that my friends and family came home safe. So for that, thank you very much. Next up, folks, where's my slider? Where's my slider? There it is. Now, folks, at this time, I want to take this opportunity to honour our veterans. Now, I do have sadly a small list. We are going to go through that list, but of course, there's no way that I want to disrespect anyone or dishonour anyone whatsoever. So in a few moments, we are going to do an open forum, okay? Myself, Mikey, will be over here in the theatre. If there was a conflict, if there was an operation, if there was a war that I have missed, by all means put your hand up. Myself and Mikey will come straight over so we can give them the thanks and the round of applause that they well and truly deserve as well. At this moment in time, I know the numbers are getting a little bit smaller, but do we have anyone here served during World War II? Well, if we can give them a huge round of applause, we thank them as well. Next up, folks, I believe we have definitely one lovely lady who served during Korea. Do we have anyone here who served during Korea? What was your name?
My name is June Baldwin.
June, and which branch did you serve in? You was in the Navy, and how long did you serve in the Navy?
How long? Oh gosh, I don't know, but it was wonderful.
It was wonderful. Do you have any, was there a memory or a story that you'd like to tell us when serving during the Navy?
I met a wonderful family down on Taiwan, Formosa, and I met a wonderful family that helped really adjust to the situation there.
Really well. Well, thank you for your service, Jim. We truly appreciate it. Generally, this is kind of, we have got three or four, I do believe, who served in Korea. So what was your name?
John.
John, and what branch was you in?
Navy.
You was in the Navy as well. Do you know June? And John, so how many years did you serve, John?
4.
4 years. 4 years. And is there a memory that you'd like to share with us about that?
Did what we had to do.
You did what you had to do. A round of applause for joining us. Flying the flag in absolute diva style. You looking at what was your name? Beverly Perkins. Beverly, what branch did you serve in?
The Army.
In the Army? And how many years did you serve? 2 years. And was there a moment that you want to share with us, a moment that you had about it? Anything to do with the Army and the Navy? Was there any conflict between the Army and the Navy? June and John?
They were pretty cute.
Oh! John? But Beverly, thank you for your service as well. If we can give them a round of applause. Thank you for all of you. Thank you. Ooh, that's the hot in here. Okay. Oh, wow. There we go. Next up, folks, do we have it? Now, we know, of course, a few days ago, we made an announcement about National Vietnam Veterans Day, and they didn't get the thanks, they certainly didn't get the welcome home that they deserve. So if we have anyone here who served during Vietnam, if you could take a stand as well, so we can give you the thanks. And the honour you deserve. Now, like I say, we're celebrating the National Vietnam Veterans Day. They didn't get the thanks, they certainly didn't get the welcome home that they deserve all those years ago. So we're going to flip reverse it if we like. So Vietnam veterans, if you could stay seated and if everyone else could take a stand so we can welcome you home and give you the thanks that you deserve. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much for that. Next up, of course, if we have anyone here who served, I always get it mixed up in my little memory. But do forgive me if I've got it mumble jumbled around the wrong way. But if there's anyone here who served during Operation Desert Shield, Operation Desert Shield, if you could take a stand for us. Folks for everything you've done as well, thank you. And of course anyone who served in Operation Desert Storm. Operation Desert Storm. Thank you to you folks, thank you very much. And of course anyone who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Of course, anyone who served in Afghanistan, if we can thank you as well. Thank you, folks. Thank you. I want to take this opportunity as well. We all kind of know what's happening in the world that we're living in, sadly. I want to take this moment of opportunity to, whether you want to say a prayer or take a moment, or even give them a round of applause for those who may be getting ready over in the Ukraine and for the help that they're giving to the refugees over in the Ukraine as well. I'm going to start a round of applause, but of course if you want to say a prayer or if you want to take a moment. Thank you very much. Now guys, at this time, like I say, we are going to do that open forum. If there's a conflict, if there's an operation that I have missed, or maybe there's a story that you want to tell between the Army and the Navy, or maybe there's a community group that you'd like to make a shout out for that maybe people don't know about, by all means, we're going to do that open forum, and do put your hand up. We don't want to disrespect or dishonour anyone. We want to make sure everyone's heard and everyone's thanked as well. But before we do that, I want to take this opportunity to take a moment's silence. Now we have friends, we have spouses, family members, comrades who fought for our freedom but didn't quite make it home. So this time I'd like to take a moment's silence. Mikey, do you want to do this side of the lounge? That way we can get to as many people as we possibly can. And grab a little wet wine from you as well. Lovely, thank you, buddy. But like I say, if there's a conflict, an operation that we have missed, by all means put your hand up. Of course, if there's a story that you'd like to share with us, or of course there may be a community that is doing good, do put your hand up, we'll come straight over to you.
Beirut, 81, 82. Gray, 83. Panama, 89.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Doug Stevenson. I am the chaplain for the Floyd chapter 95 of the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans. I serve as their chaplain. It's a great organization to help soldiers get their benefits. So if any of you out there have not applied for your benefits, go look up at DAV chapter, because they're trying to help you get your benefits. Also, I serve as a junior vice for the Veterans of Foreign War. Never was in a war, never got shot at in anger. My grandmother's prayers prevented that. But I served in Korea for a year, and that's still an unresolved conflict. So I'm able to join the VFW because of my service. for a year in Korea. So God bless the USA. God bless.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Palmentary from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Thank you to all the veterans. I did not serve. My father and his 3 brothers, who were all disabled American veterans, served. My father served under General Patton, Africa, Sicily, and because he was Italian, eventually became an interpreter when they had Italian prisoners. My Uncle Gus was a Pearl Harbor survivor. My Uncle Angelo was a sharpshooter, and he served his military time in Florida, but he was so good at what he did. He did not have to go overseas, but he did have Clark Gable in one of the platoons. The story is really about the youngest boy, my Uncle Manji, John Palmentary. He was drafted, did his basic in Fort Dix, was transferred to Fort Hood. They were getting ready for D-Day. Fortunately for him, he got ill. 6 weeks later, all those fellows went out. Unfortunately, about 85% did not make it. When he recovered, he was sent from England. From England, he went to France. From France, he was sent to the Battle of the Bulge. He got injured, was taken to a field hospital. At that time, the war had really turned, and he felt like the medical attention was being given to the German officers. He flew off the handle. The doctor came over and said, "Where are you from, soldier?" He said, "Atlantic City." He said, "Go get the corpsman from Atlantic City." Corpsman came down, Ray Borzellini. They struck up a conversation. Ray got out first. 9 months later, my uncle got out first. But during the correspondence, the Palmentaries met the Borzellini at his welcome home party. 9 months later, when Uncle Manji got home, Ray Borzellini showed up at his welcome home party. And he said to Ray, "Who's that girl next to you?" He says, "That's my kid sister, who is now my Aunt Louise that lived 3 blocks away in Atlantic City that he never knew." So God has a plan for all of us, but unfortunately or fortunately for him, it took him all over the world to meet his wife, who was 3 blocks away. But thanks again for all your service.
I had a friend that served in Vietnam, and he didn't make it back. And my father was in Korea, and he made it back, and he had malaria and what they call jungle rot on his foot. But he was a sharpshooter, and he saved a captain, and he got a Purple Heart. So he's gone now too.
Operation Restore Hope Somalia, people know from Black Hawk down.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Darlene Torres, Master Sergeant retired, 27 years in the military. Jumped out of perfectly good airplanes. I'd like to thank the Air Force for that. I used to be 6 foot tall, but now I'm 5 foot. Anyway, I would like to thank Carnival. Carnival, I've been on several Carnival ships, and I think Carnival is the only one that does this right. So I'd like to thank Carnival for that.
Got a sister story for the Navy. Well, I flew tankers at Desert Shield, and they kept calling us up there to refuel all the Navy fighters. And but the ship was right in the Red Sea, so we ended up adjusting our gross weight the way they could. And after 4 times, we were getting frustrated, so we called the mother ship and said, "Can we do a flyby? You know, like Top Gun? If we want to go see that carrier." And when we did that flyby at sea level, see all them fighters and stuff, gave goosebumps like, man, we were dead. So that was a cool thing to do, and it was a cool memory I had. That's all. Thanks, Navy.
I just want to take this opportunity as well, thank you for reminding me. If we can have a round of applause for those who served during Operation Enduring Freedom, is that right? Operation Enduring Freedom.
Yeah, hi, everybody, I'm Chip Miner. When it served, there's a whole lot of years, it wasn't an operation that most people are remembering, but we all served in it, most of us did. And it was during the Cold War. And my father was a missileer, I was in the Air Force.
Simon, thank you for this. This is really nice. After I served in the Air Force, I became a teacher for 20 years. And while I taught math and science and all that is well and good, the most important thing I feel I taught was patriotism. And it's not being taught anymore. And events like this are so important, but most importantly, teach your children, teach your grandchildren how this is important. Freedom is not free. It's not free. And our allies, the Brits and those other countries, they were there for us as well. And for 20 years, I did a POW MIA ceremony. I had 100 kids in my aerospace club, and they got so into it. They loved it. And they learned how important it was to honor those who are still with us that came back home, but most importantly, to honor those who did not come home. And that was the sacrifices that they made, those that did not come home. And some of them are still out there. There are still POWs and MIAs that we have not found and not come home yet. And we're still searching. That's still an ongoing effort to bring them home. And it's just so important to teach patriotism. So please make that a goal for yourself to continue teaching patriotism, because it's not being taught in schools.
different operations to help rebuild and build buildings and structures, bridges, all sorts of different things, and it was really very interesting. Thank you.
I just want to say my memory is not that well after everything I've been through, but I'm going to try to share a little something with you. I was a little kid, graduated high school, went into the U.S. Army, went to Fort Scott, Kentucky for M1A1 tanks. I was sent over to Germany as a young boy. I was no more than 18 years old. We was the last people to serve on the Berlin Wall when the Berlin Wall crumbled. And I was very scared because how can you protect the wall with no ammunition in your gun? I couldn't catch that theory in my head, but you know, so when I left the Berlin Wall for the last time, I tried to get a little piece of it, they denied it. Went back to Jukitzky in Germany. Then at that time, that's when everything in the desert started steaming up. So now I was attached to the 7th Army, and they just took a platoon out of every company in Germany, and we were sent over into the desert to no man's land. We didn't know anybody. So it was like pretty hard on us as young kids back then, but we made it through it.
hometown. After I come back from service, he was one of our Boy Scouts to the American Legion. He was killed in Grenada. So that had not been recognized here. So that is another war that took place. There wasn't a lot that was killed, but this young man was. Your story about Germany, I got one too. In 1969, in July of '69, Russia decided to come back and take Czechoslovakia back. At that time, they put us on the Czechoslovakian border, which nobody really knows about this. It doesn't seem, it wasn't really in history. And they did the same thing with us. We had 4 sidearms, three rifles, and no ammunition. And we were waiting, and the tanks only had plastic doors because all of the military had sent the ammunition and everything to Vietnam. But we were there in force enough that we were wondering what would happen because they thought Russia was going to come on back in. We also were not liked by the Germans at that time, the younger people. But the day that happened, all of a sudden, the German people fell in love with us again because we were there in the basis of showing force. But if they had overrun it, we wouldn't be here today. So that is one of the things that happened. I also had one other thing happen to me in California. I'm leaving Fort Worth, California, heading home to a unit in Indiana. I was spit on 3 times, called a baby killer, and it was just shameful the way I was treated. When I got home, during the time I come home, I never wore my uniform when I was off duty because of the fact if you did, you were ridiculed and you were treated like you were scum of the earth. And that's why I think everybody here, when we stood up today, it almost made me cry.
Yeah.
One good memory was just boot camp. I was in the Navy. I don't know if anybody remembers Gaddafi's line of death in the battle group Iowa. 19 watching that battle group go across that line of death in Iowa fire. The power that the United States displayed was amazing. From there, I was still got in the military.
One of my last duty stations was in Oceana, and it's right down by Virginia Beach, nobody knows. Well, they used to complain all the hotels about I was doing, operations, flybys of F-18s. Well, when the Twin Towers fell in New York, those people changed their tune, and they called it the sound of freedom instead of complaining about it. And that was a day that brought a tear to this old man's eye.
Shout out to our grandson. He joined the Army, and he's headed to Italy, his first duty station.
I want to reiterate what that gentleman over there said. I was in San Francisco when our ship pulled in, and all these people saw us in Navy uniforms. We were in our dress whites, and we got up, and all of a sudden people started throwing stuff at us and spitting at us and called us baby killers and everything. And I thought, what the heck's wrong with these people? They said, get out of your uniforms as fast as you can. So we had to go to what they call locker clubs. We went to locker clubs and changed into civilian clothes so that where they still had their haircuts, because everybody was long hair, a bunch of hippies then. So we're all got short hair. And said, yeah, you're in the military,
I'm going to piggyback off what she said. Shout out to my son that's over there right now. He got deployed on his birthday this year. And then to my daughter here that leaves May 13th for basic training. Woo!
My name's Bill. I don't I'm sure all the older gentlemen, some of the ladies know, my son was going into the Navy. And he gets stationed on an aircraft carrier, and he talked to me when he came back to the port. He goes, "What's the biggest difference between now and when you were in?" And I said, "It's easy. From now on, you can't use a phone, you can't use the internet, you can't go on Wi-Fi. What you have to do is write a letter." And the biggest thing to remember is on the back of that envelope, put a letter or a number. Because there's nothing worse than getting letter 1 and then letter 4. Because what the hell happened between 2 and 3? And the other one is, I have to thank the wives, especially my own, because basically all the time I'm in for 21 years, she raised 4 kids, moved 6 times, put them all in school, and all the time she worked and supported them and supported me when I came home. The only thing worse about being in the Navy was I came home one time after a deployment and she bought a water bed.
All right, my name is Josh. The last deployment I had was Curacao. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately. There's still a lot of people there, guys. They are running missions still today that many people don't even know they're going on there. Running AWACS a little bit further south over Venezuela to protect our country. There's some things that are going on. That was 15 years ago that I was there, and I was speaking to our guide yesterday, and he said they have moved the people onto the airport now to protect them. They were staying, as you pointed to the port where you saw the water slides, there used to be a hotel that we were staying in. They moved all those out, they tore the hotel down because it was getting attacked by people from Venezuela. So they tore the hotel down and rebuilt it as a different facility to protect the people of Curacao. They are now staying on the airport in secure locations. They are still going, and they said there's no end in sight from what the people of Curacao told me yesterday.
My story involves my first name, which is Derrol, D-E-R-R-O-L. And I believe that I am the only female whose name is spelled that way in the United States and possibly the world, I don't know. Because my father was in the Army Air Corps. He was an Army Air Corps pilot instructor from Montgomery, Alabama. He and his best friend, Darrell Rogers, were out training one day towards the end of the war, and Darrell Rogers' plane malfunctioned. He flew back over land so his crew could parachute out. Went back over the water. He and his co-pilot parachuted out, and his co-pilot made it, but he did not. Well, at the time, my mother was like 8.5 months pregnant, and back then you didn't know if you were having a boy or girl, so whatever that was going to be named Darrell, right?
Well, folks, the intention is, of course, is not to share, we're a small magic family right here, but an emphatic and powerful magic family. We have, 3,700 guests on board. And of course, this turnout is absolutely fantastic. So if anything, at the end of this presentation, probably perhaps you meet some new people, you meet some new friends. But I always say to my friends back home is to always speak up, always to share each other's stories. It doesn't have to be with myself or whoever, but maybe someone who's shared a similar story or similar situation in life. By all means, hopefully this will be an opportunity for you guys to meet up and who knows, become new friends in the future. With that said, folks, I just want to take this opportunity. We have a video message from our president of Carnival Cruise Line, Mrs. Christine Duffy. Now we want to show this video presentation to show you what the military actually means to us here at Carnival and why it's embedded with us here at Carnival. And of course, we want you to show what the military means to Mrs. Christine Duffy on a personal level. So here's our video message from our president.
Hi, I'm Christine Duffy, President of Carnival Cruise Line. And I would like to thank you, not only for cruising with us, but for attending this special tribute we put together to honor those who have served or are currently serving in our military. Military service is very near and dear to me personally, as my father and all of my uncles served in the U.S. Armed Forces. My dad was in the Army, and my 3 uncles served in the U.S. Air Force, Navy, and Marines. My stepfather was a Green Beret, and now our son Sean, who I'm so proud of, is currently in law school and planning to join the service as a JAG when he graduates. I have personally witnessed the honor and dedication of military men and women and the sacrifices made by their families, and I am humbled by those who are willing to give so much to preserve and protect our freedoms. At Carnival Cruise Line, we have been a big supporter of military families, and I am very proud to say that we carry more active and retired military personnel than any other cruise line in the world. My first official event as president of Carnival was in February of 2015, where I had the opportunity to be in Galveston, Texas to commemorate the start of cruises on Carnival Freedom. During this special celebration featuring country music star Martina McBride, we kicked off our partnership with Operation Homefront. This partnership has endured, and we have continued to provide charitable support to Operation Homefront. Their mission is to build strong, stable, and secure military families so they can thrive in the communities they have worked so hard to protect for us. With more than 3,200 volunteers nationwide, Operation Homefront provides assistance to military families through food and housing, as well as a variety of financial aid services. With Operation Homefront and country music superstar Carrie Underwood, we introduced our Honor Family Fund program. This was a year-long program that not only raised funds for Operation Homefront, but we were able to give many military families the opportunity to sail with us on Carnival Vista and attend Carrie's concerts. We also chose Deshauna Barber as the godmother of Carnival Vista. Deshauna is the first active duty U.S. military officer to wear the Miss USA crown. I had the privilege of spending time with Deshauna during the naming ceremony in New York, and she is truly an extraordinary young woman. During the ceremony, she spoke about her time in the military, the importance of supporting our servicemen and women, and how important it is to spend time with our loved ones. Let's take a look.
I am humbled and proud and honored and inspired all at the same time. As a daughter of a retired Master Sergeant who served in the U.S. Special Forces, I know what it's like to have a parent in the military. I serve as a commander right now, and it has its ups and downs. I have soldiers that I need to take care of, and that's why when I won Miss USA, I made my platform PTSD care and PTSD awareness and providing PTSD resources for our soldiers. What we do as military is very important. And when the days get hard, you have to think about days like this where you have organizations like Carnival Cruise Line and Operation Homefront that do what they need to do to appreciate our soldiers and the sacrifices that they have made and their families have made.
I hope all of you have enjoyed this special event today as much as we at Carnival enjoyed honoring you for your service. We thank you for spending your vacation with us, and on behalf of the entire Carnival family, we hope you and your loved ones had an extraordinary time here on your Carnival cruise, because you deserve it. Thank you.
Welcome our President, Mrs. Christine Duffy, and of course Mrs. Christine Duffy.
is extremely on the social media, just as John Heald is as well. Do drop them a message, even if it's Carnival Cruise Line. If there's an event around the States, she's more than happy to go and attend to. So do let them know. Of course, drop Christine Duffy or even John Heald a message on Facebook. They'll be more than happy to reply to attend any of those events. If you are dropping them a message, just let them know though, if you can, Simon London needs a raise. That would be lovely. But folks, on behalf of everyone here on board the Carnival Magic, thank you for your service, thank you for everything you've done, and of course, thank you for everything you're going to do. Have a wonderful day, enjoy your sea day, and we'll see you tonight for the Love and Marriage Show. Thank you very much.